Most people think their future will be decided by hard work, intelligence, or luck. Very few realize that one of the biggest deciding factors is much closer: the people they spend time with every day. Not mentors, not celebrities, not motivation speakers, just friends. Your habits, thinking, risk tolerance, and even your ambition are quietly shaped by your circle. Not through advice, but through normalization. What your friends treat as normal life slowly becomes your standard, and over time, that standard decides where you end up. In this video, we're breaking down how your friends silently decide your future using psychology, behavior patterns, and real-world logic. No drama, no emotional guilt, just clarity. If you've ever felt stuck without knowing why, this might explain more than you expect. You are not independent, you are influenced. Most people love to believe they are fully independent thinkers. They think their goals, habits, and decisions come purely from within. That's a comforting illusion. In reality, human behavior is deeply social. Your brain constantly adapts to the environment you spend the most time in, especially the people around you. Friends shape what feels normal. If skipping workouts is normal in your group, discipline feels extreme. If wasting weekends is normal, ambition feels weird. You don't consciously choose these standards. They slowly install themselves into your mindset. Over time, you stop questioning them. Science backs this up. Studies in behavioral psychology show that habits, risk-taking behavior, spending patterns, and even life expectancy are strongly correlated with peer groups. Not because of motivation, but because the brain copies behavior it sees repeatedly. This is neural conditioning, not inspiration. So when we say, your friends decide your future, it's not motivational talk, it's biology and psychology. You don't rise or fall alone. You drift in the average direction of the people you consistently surround yourself with, whether you like it or not. Your environment sets your standards. Success or failure rarely starts with talent. It starts with standards. What you tolerate, what you normalize, and what you consider good enough, are all shaped by your environment. And your friends are a major part of that environment. If your circle treats mediocrity as acceptable, you'll unconsciously lower your expectations. Late nights, zero planning, no long-term goals, it all becomes normal. You don't feel like you're falling behind because everyone around you is standing still too. On the other hand, when your friends take growth seriously, you feel internal pressure, not toxic pressure, but alignment pressure. You start questioning your own habits. You think twice before wasting time. Growth stops feeling optional and starts feeling necessary. This is why changing goals without changing your environment rarely works. Willpower loses against surroundings. Your future doesn't change when you decide to be better, it changes when your standards rise. And those standards are heavily borrowed from the people you call friends. Friends influence your risk appetite. Your willingness to take risks is not just a personality trait, it's socially conditioned. If your friends avoid challenges, fear failure, and play safe, you'll slowly adopt the same risk profile. Ambition starts feeling dangerous instead of necessary. When a group constantly talks about what could go wrong, the brain prioritizes safety over growth. You hesitate to start things. You delay decisions. You convince yourself that waiting is smart, when it's actually fear disguised as logic. Now flip the environment. When your friends are starting businesses, learning new skills, changing careers, or betting on long-term growth, risk becomes normalized. Failure becomes a data point, not a disaster. You don't feel reckless. You feel behind if you don't try. This doesn't mean copying reckless behavior. It means understanding that courage is contagious. So is fear. Your future expands or contracts based on how your circle defines risk, and most people never realize how much their ambition is being silently negotiated by others. Conversations shape your thinking more than advice. Most people think advice changes lives. It doesn't. Conversations do. What you repeatedly talk about becomes what your brain prioritizes. And your friend circle decides the default topics running in your mental background. If conversations revolve around gossip, complaints, and shortcuts, your thinking slowly mirrors that. You start seeing life as something to survive rather than build. Even if you want more, your mental bandwidth is constantly occupied with low-value noise. But when conversations are about ideas, opportunities, systems, and improvement, your thinking level upgrades automatically. You start noticing patterns, asking better questions, and thinking in terms of cause and effect. No one has to motivate you. Your environment does it for free. Your future is built in casual conversations, not big speeches. Pay attention to what dominates your group chats and late-night talks. That's not entertainment, that's programming your mindset. Your friends affect your discipline without you noticing. Discipline is fragile. It doesn't collapse suddenly, it erodes slowly. And one of the biggest reasons is social friction. When your friends don't value structure, consistency, or long-term effort, discipline starts feeling unnecessary or even antisocial. Skipping one workout because friends made plans feels harmless. Missing one study session because everyone's chilling feels normal. But repeated enough times, these small compromises reset your identity. You stop seeing yourself as a disciplined person and start seeing discipline as optional. The opposite environment creates the opposite effect. When people around you respect routines, you feel a quiet accountability. You don't want to be the only one slacking. Discipline becomes part of the culture, not a personal struggle. This is why self-control alone rarely wins. The strongest discipline is outsourced, built into your environment. If your friends don't respect your time, your goals, or your focus, they're unintentionally training you to fail. Friends normalize either growth or stagnation. Humans adapt fast. Whatever you see daily starts feeling normal, even if it's unhealthy. If your friends are stuck in the same routines year after year, same complaints, same excuses, same comfort zone, stagnation stops feeling like a problem. You don't feel urgency because no one around you is moving fast. Dreams get postponed. Potential gets parked. Not because you're incapable, but because stagnation has been socially normalized. When everyone is idle, doing nothing feels justified. Now compare that with a growth-oriented circle. Learning new skills, setting goals, tracking progress, these behaviors feel standard, not extreme. You don't need motivation videos because growth is part of the environment. Progress becomes the default direction. Your future trajectory depends on what your circle treats as normal life. Growth or stagnation, you'll subconsciously choose whichever your friends make feel acceptable. Friends influence your identity and self-image. Your identity isn't something you decide once, it's something that gets reinforced daily. And your friends play a massive role in that reinforcement. How they see you, treat you, and talk to you slowly becomes how you see yourself. If your circle labels you as the serious one, the overthinker, or the one who dreams too much, you'll subconsciously shrink to fit that role. Not because they're evil, but because the brain seeks social acceptance. Standing out feels risky. On the other hand, when your friends see you as capable, intelligent, or driven, your confidence compounds. You start acting in alignment with that identity. Expectations rise, and humans naturally try to meet expectations placed on them. This is why breaking out of a limiting circle often feels like losing a version of yourself. Your future self can't survive in an environment that keeps reinforcing an outdated identity. Growth sometimes requires social friction, and that's the price of evolution. Comforting friends can kill urgency. Some friends aren't toxic, they're comforting. And that can be even more dangerous. They constantly reassure you that everything will work out, that there's no rush, that life is long. It sounds supportive, but it quietly kills urgency. Urgency is not panic, it's clarity. It's the awareness that time is limited and actions compound. When your circle keeps softening reality, you stop feeling the pressure to act. Goals become abstract. Effort becomes optional. High-performing people are rarely surrounded by excessive comfort. They're surrounded by reality. They're reminded, directly or indirectly, that results matter. Not in a cruel way, but in an honest way. If your friends always help you feel better without helping you do better, you'll feel calm while falling behind. Comfort feels good short-term. Urgency builds futures. You either grow together or grow apart. Growth changes people. Priorities shift, habits evolve, and perspectives widen. When that happens, friendships get tested. Some grow with you, others start pulling you back, not intentionally, but naturally. Many people sabotage their own progress trying to preserve old dynamics. They downplay ambition, hide effort, or slow themselves down just to stay relatable. This is one of the most common but least talked about reasons people underperform. Healthy friendships adapt. They allow distance, change, and evolution without guilt. Unhealthy ones demand sameness. They interpret growth as arrogance and change as betrayal. That emotional pressure keeps many people stuck. Your future doesn't require abandoning everyone, but it does require honesty about who can grow with you and who only fits your past. You can't build a new life while clinging tightly to an old environment. Choosing your friends is choosing your future. At the end of the day, your friend circle is not just social, it's strategic. Every habit, belief, and standard you absorb from them compounds over years. Slowly, quietly, predictably. This isn't motivational talk, it's behavioral math. You don't need perfect friends. You need aligned friends. People who respect growth, time, and effort. People whose lifestyles don't sabotage your goals. Even one or two such people can change your trajectory more than dozens of passive connections. This also means you must become the kind of friend you want to have. Growth is reciprocal. As you raise your standards, your circle naturally changes. Some people exit, others enter. That's not loneliness, that's evolution. Your future won't be decided by one big decision. It'll be decided by the people you talk to every day. Choose them carefully, because in the long run, your friends don't just influence your future, they quietly build it. If this video made you uncomfortable, that's a good sign. Growth usually starts with awareness, not motivation. You don't need to hate your friends or cut everyone off. You just need to be honest about influence. Pay attention to who pushes you forward and who keeps you comfortable. Who respects your time, your goals, and your effort, and who slowly pulls you back into old patterns. These small daily interactions matter more than big plans. Your future won't change overnight, but it will change the moment you start choosing your environment consciously. Because in the long run, discipline is easier, growth is faster, and clarity is sharper when the people around you are aligned with where you're going.